Good evening, everybody, and welcome back to my YouTube channel as we dig into a new series called the Penpal Horrors. I'm using a little bit of background sound, trying to play around with that, basically because my neighbors have dogs, and I don't want that into the video. So I originally started pen paling, which I don't do anymore, but I did it back like 6 years ago. And my whole purpose of doing that was learning about the countries I was going to go to. I had this whole plan in place about traveling throughout Europe and going to places like Finland and Denmark and Amsterdam and England and France and Italy. And I knew nothing about these countries. I was 41 years old and had never traveled abroad. So I started pen paling. And what I had found was that pen paling was so different than what I was used to when I was a kid, which was like postcard exchange, writing handwritten letters, things like that. You actually went on this website called Penpal, and you connected with different people from all around the world, and that's where you would get your postcard exchange and make buddies and stuff across the world. Well, my first experience, it was really strange, was not really my experience. It was a story that was actually told to me, and this is what I'm sharing in this series called the Penpal Horrors. Okay, so for privacy purposes, I'm going to use this individual or these individuals or this person. It all started off when I connected with this person who reached out to me through the Penpal website, asked me where I was from, things like that. And this individual was from Spain. I think it was Madrid. And this person was kind of schooling me, giving me all the information about pen paling, saying, okay, these are the do's and don'ts. This is what you want to avoid. This is what you don't want to avoid. This is who you want to connect with. This is how you want to go about it. And as we were talking and chatting, this person kind of opened up and said, I had a really bad pen pal experience, so make sure you avoid this. And I said, okay, that sounds cool. That sounds reasonable. And then blatantly just was like, I would like to connect with you. I want to share my story with you. So I'm like, okay. So we Skype, video Skype. Person was really, really cool. It was nothing wrong with the conversation until the person opened up about the story. Well, come to find out, this person was from Madrid, as I had mentioned earlier, and the person had connected through pen paling with a person from, I believe it was North Carolina, the United States. Now, as they talked and became friends or buddies or pen pals, feelings can, develop between the two of these individuals, which I can understand that they were speaking every day, they were connecting every day, sharing photos, sharing all these things, and this person had fell like hard, like hard, like rock hard, like fall on the cement and crack your head on the pavement hard, you know. And so this person had developed such, strong feelings and a crush on this other individual and was like, look, I'm coming to see you. I'm in love with you type deal. And I'm on the other end like, wow. You know what I mean? Like this story was getting really good. So this person explained that at the time, unfortunately, this person had lost their job and could not travel to the U.S. at that time and had to move with her grandmother. And so I'm listening. I'm like, okay, that happens. I can understand that. Well, the other person who was in the U.S., who this person was in a relationship, I guess, with, that they had developed, kind of was like, okay, I understand. But then all of a sudden had disappeared. Now, this went on for about a year and a half of communicating. And when the trip was planned, this person just had disappeared from the face of the map. Just like no communication, nothing. So the person from Madrid was reaching out to this person's family in the U.S. like, I don't know where this person is. I've been trying to contact this person. I don't understand why this person just disappeared from my life like that. And they all said, we're trying to connect with this person. We'll find out information. We'll get back to you. And you can tell the family was kind of in on it from the story. Well, this person ended up, like, at some point moving on with her life because it had been a year, since they had communicated, and this person had met an individual in Madrid that she liked. They had moved in together. They had started a relationship, which I was like, okay, that sounds healthy. You never knew what was going on with this other person. About a year after that, so now we're talking about 2 years later, the person from the United States reached out to this person. Was like, I'm sorry, I was going through a lot, my apologies, blah, blah, blah. And this person from Madrid broke up with, you know, her significant other and reconnected with this guy from the US who she had never met, had never, really seen outside of an online chat, and had never, really connected in real life. And I was blown away because I was like, I mean, I understand you like the person, but wow, like you're gonna throw away a real live person relationship for someone you've never seen. I was shocked. But here's where it gets tricky. So this person in Madrid had ended up getting back on her feet, had got a job and everything, and had moved back out and got her own place and was doing very well in life at that time. And was like, okay, I'm ready. I'm ready to book my tickets. I'm ready to come see you in North Carolina. The individual in North Carolina said, no, I'm moving to Spain. Like, I'm moving there. So this person was blown away, was like, wow, you're moving just for me? Was like, yeah, I'm moving just for you. That's why I came back into your life. So this person was like, wow, okay. All right, that sounds fantastic. Now, and I'm not from Europe, but from what I'm told, Spain, the major cities are Madrid and Barcelona. And Madrid is like 2 hours from Barcelona by flight. So the individual from the United States supposedly, in theory, moved to Barcelona. So once this person got there and got settled in and all of this stuff, supposedly, the person from Madrid that was telling me this story was like, okay, she had this vacation time she was saving up. She had taken 2 weeks off of work, and she was ready to get on a plane and go see this person. This person who moved there from the United States was like, look, I'm busy with work. I can't get there right now. And I have all these employees, et cetera, for this company that I'm managing, or blah, 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 whatever the case may be, right? So this person was kind of upset because she was like, look, we never met. We've been talking for 3 years. I've never met you. And the first thing I said was, can I interrupt? I don't want to be a butthead or anything, but do you really think this person was in Spain with you? And this person was like, yeah, I mean, I heard the accent from the videos that he was sending me and this and that. I was like, people can pre-record things on the phone. With iPhones and technology, you can use different phones and different cameras and this and that. So that person may not actually be there. So then the person kind of broke down crying, was like, that's what my dad told me. And I was like, okay, keep going. So they never met. 4 years go by. So, he had ghosted her again while he was in Spain. So I'm saying like this story was horrible because I really felt bad for the individual telling me the story. Because, this person was like, look, he wouldn't let me come see him. I don't understand. He supposedly was here because he had found a cat and then got the cat vaccinated and all this other stuff. And I looked up the place. It was a real place. I said, right, but anybody can say they took him to this place. I said, you got to be careful, with who you interact with. And this person is actually schooling me on pen paling. So the horror story was, this person ghosted again, never heard from this person again. And I said, I'm just going to be honest with you. I don't think this person was in Spain. I think this person was still in the U.S., had no intentions of ever meeting you. And unfortunately, you kind of fell for this person through communication and all of that, which is understandable. But I think you kind of got played. And this person didn't know me. It wasn't somebody I was talking to. It wasn't somebody I was actually trying to meet or anything like that. This was just somebody who probably had a lot on their mind at the time and just kind of opened up of their pen pal experience. And it was very sad. This person started crying, and I just kind of sat there like, I'm sorry you went through that. And I just felt really bad because I was like, wow, there's some cruel people out here in the world just for something as simple as that. Even if it would have ended up not being nothing between these two individuals, at least kind of see what happens and meet or hang out or get coffee or whatever. This person had took a piece of this other person's life for about 4 years. And mind you, this had been going on years before I had even, tried to even attempt a pen pal. So by the time I heard the story, it was like 4 years into it. And I just was like, wow, I was really shocked. And the one lesson that I learned is no matter how you meet someone, no matter where you meet that person, whether it's through somebody, through a friend, family member, there are some cruel people in this world, man, because I just felt like that was just, even though some people could say that person was being dumbfounded or being naive, on the other end of it, I think that was just really cruel of that other person to kind of do that person from Spain like that. I never heard from that person again. I ended up trying my attempt at pen paling myself in attempts to get information about traveling, which is a whole nother story, which I'm going to have to really try to get around this and make sure that it's the right way to put my story out there. But it's a long one, and I'm working on how to present that. But certainly what I've learned is that, just from that story, is that you have a lot of people in the world that live through fantasy and live through dreams. And I was just like, wow, that was just sad to hear that. The internet is crazy, man. Be careful out here. This was just pen paling. This was just, two people who lived in opposite sides of the world who I'm assuming at some point connected over something, and then one person wasn't realistic. And this was like worse than a catfish show, because it wasn't like the person wasn't who they said they were. The person supposedly was who they said they were. They just never met, and that's just kind of sucks. You know what I mean? And it was just kind of sad for that. So anyway, hope you enjoyed this little soliloquy and story. That was probably the saddest story I ever heard, honestly, in my life, because that person was really hooked on this other person. Was like, had fallen hard. You're telling a stranger a story that you had never really, you don't know, and that person kind of opened up like, boom, like, wow. So I just felt like, you know, man, like, that was really sad. And at the end of that conversation, I remember this person telling me, I'll never ever meet another person online or anything again because of what happened to me. And I said, well, I'm sorry to hear that. And it just went into this angry mode, like, pen paling sucks, nobody's legitimate, no one wants to get to know people. And I was like, well, okay. I had never done it at that point, so I'm like listening at this time, and it's, like, wow. Do I really want to go to Europe or what? And at this time, I'm planning, like, my map is like open, so I don't know if I want to go to Italy or France or Germany or anything at this point. It ended up being England, which I had shared already on one of my YouTube videos. And that's a whole nother story of how I had to get away from pen paling because of some of the experiences that I had seen and had heard and had experienced. And I was like, nah, that's not for me. I'd rather just go out there by myself and not meet anybody, and that's how I ended up out there by myself and not meeting anybody. But that's a whole different story. All right, stay tuned for my next saga of the Penpal Horrors as I navigate around about, in a very respectful way, my own story and experience. That's probably going to take a couple of videos. Stay tuned. Peace.